Welcome to tonight's sleep story, dear listener. Thank you for joining me on this gentle journey into a world of calm and quiet wonder. As you settle in, allow yourself to let go of the day's busyness and embrace this moment of stillness. This story has been created with care, designed to help you unwind, relax, and drift into a peaceful state of mind. There's no rush here, no urgency, just a soothing narrative to carry you softly along. Before we begin, let's take a moment to prepare your body and mind. Find a comfortable position, whether you're lying down or sitting somewhere cozy. Gently close your eyes if you like, and bring your attention to your breath. Let's take 3 slow, deep breaths together. Inhale deeply through your nose, feeling your belly rise as you fill your lungs completely. And exhale gently through your mouth, releasing any tension you might be holding. Let's do that again. Inhale deeply and exhale softly. One more time, at your own pace. With each breath, imagine yourself sinking a little deeper into comfort. Feel your shoulders relax, your hands soften, and your whole body begin to let go. Picture yourself in a safe and tranquil space, ready to be enveloped by the soothing flow of the story ahead. Now let's begin this quiet adventure, one gentle word at a time. Chapter 1. The Glow of the Stream. The moon rested high in the night sky, round and full. Its gentle light painted the forest in shades of silver, turning each leaf and branch into a work of art. In the heart of these ancient woods, a stream wound its way between the trees, its waters singing a quiet melody that echoed through the silence. The stream began in the northern hills, flowing down through the forest like a ribbon of light. Its waters carried a special magic, a blend of silver moonlight and soft blue radiance that seemed to come from deep within. As it flowed, it created a natural path through the woods, its banks lined with smooth stones and soft moss. Willow, the forest sprite, walked along these banks with soundless steps. Her silvery hair floated behind her like gossamer threads in the cool night air, catching moonbeams and scattering them like tiny stars. The night breeze carried the warmth of summer's last breath, creating a perfect balance between cool and comfortable. Her home lay just ahead, nestled at the base of the forest's oldest willow tree. The ancient tree's roots had grown into natural walls over centuries, creating spaces perfect for a woodland dwelling. Soft green moss carpeted these roots, while delicate blue-silver lichen traced patterns across the bark. Above, the willow's branches swayed in a gentle rhythm, its leaves creating a sound like distant chimes. The space around her home held its own gentle magic. It wasn't the flashy kind that sparked and thundered, but rather the quiet sort that made flowers turn their faces to the moon and helped lost travelers find their way. This magic settled in the air like evening dew, bringing peace to all who passed through. Willow paused by the stream's edge, letting her bare feet sink into the cool earth. The water's glow bathed her skin in gentle light, creating patterns that danced and shifted with each ripple, She closed her eyes and breathed in deeply, taking in the forest's nighttime scents one by one. Fresh, sweet starflowers bloomed nearby, their petals opening to the moon's touch. The rich scent of rain-kissed moss rose from the ground beneath her feet. Clean, crisp stream water mixed with these scents, carrying hints of the distant hills it had traveled from. Night-blooming jasmine added its honey-sweet notes to this natural perfume, completing the forest's evening chorus of scents. The forest's sounds wove together into a peaceful symphony. Leaves whispered overhead as the breeze moved through them. The stream bubbled softly over smooth stones. Far away, an owl called once, its voice soft and low. Each sound had its place, none competing with the others, all working together to create nature's lullaby. Then the wind shifted slightly, bringing something new. Willow heard soft footsteps padding on fallen leaves, accompanied by the quiet rustle of clothing moving through the undergrowth. She opened her eyes slowly, turning toward the sound. A figure emerged from the forest shadows, moving with careful steps. They walked as if in a dream, touching branches and leaves with gentle fingers, taking care not to disturb the forest's peace. Their movements spoke of deep respect for this magical place. The newcomer stopped at the stream's edge, where the glowing water lit their face. Though their shoulders drooped with weariness, their eyes sparkled with wonder as they took in the magical scene before them. Willow's lips curved into a gentle smile. Another wanderer had found their way to her forest, drawn by its promise of peace and healing. The air around them hummed with possibility, like the moment between sleep and waking when anything seems possible. The stream continued its song, the leaves their dance, and the night its gentle journey toward dawn. Here, in this moment, time seemed to slow, creating a pocket of perfect tranquility in the endless flow of existence. Chapter 2. The First Wanderer. The travelers stood motionless in the stream's silvery light, their breath forming tiny clouds in the evening air. Their simple clothing told its own quiet story. Well-worn boots that had walked countless paths, a cloak softened by wind and weather. Each line on their face spoke of wisdom earned through gentle observation, rather than harsh experience. "I never expected to find such a place," they said, their voice carrying the softness of falling leaves. "The path, it seemed to shine just ahead of me, always a few steps forward." Willow glided closer, her movements as fluid as the stream itself. Even the evening dew remained undisturbed beneath her feet. "The forest knows when someone needs its magic," she said, her words flowing like warm honey. "It calls to those whose hearts are ready for peace." The traveler's eyes held a spark of recognition. "The dreams," they murmured, touching a tree trunk with reverent fingers. "I've been dreaming of silver waters and gentle lights. I thought they were just memories of stars on water." A smile touched Willow's lips, creating tiny patterns of light around her eyes. "Dreams and truth often walk hand in hand here," she said. "The path ahead will show you what your heart already knows." She gestured to where the luminescent trail curved alongside the stream. Each stone along its edge wore a collar of soft light, while roots crossed the path like ancient bridges, their surfaces smoothed by countless quiet footsteps. The traveler took their first step forward, then another, each movement becoming more certain as the path welcomed them. The forest's embrace deepened as they walked. The air carried new warmth, wrapping around them like a familiar blanket. Fresh scents drifted past, wild roses opening their petals to the night, sweet clover swaying in the breeze, and the clean brightness of water-touched stone. The stream accompanied their journey, its song changing from playful ripples to deeper, more contemplative tones. They entered a meadow where the trees parted like curtains drawing back. Here, the grass grew tall and silver-white, moving in waves that mimicked the stream's flow. Tiny lights danced above the grass, fireflies performing their evening ballet. Some traced lazy spirals near the ground, while others floated high above, creating patterns that seemed to mirror the stars. Willow paused at the meadow's edge, allowing the scene to settle into the traveler's memory. "Listen to how the meadow breathes," she suggested, her voice barely stirring the air. "Feel how the earth holds you, steady and strong." The traveler closed their eyes. Their shoulders softened, releasing the tension they hadn't known they carried. The fireflies responded to this surrender, their lights now pulsing in harmony with the traveler's breathing. Each shallow wave in the grass added its whisper to the night's melody. Time flowed differently here, like honey warming in sunlight. The weight of schedules and hurry dissolved into the meadow's peaceful rhythm. Only the moon's gentle journey across the sky marked the passage of moments, its light painting everything in shades of silver and pearl. The stream continued its song nearby, a constant reminder of the path that had led them here. Its waters caught starlight and transformed it, sending ribbons of luminescence dancing across the meadow's edge. The air held that perfect balance between cool and warm that comes just as summer whispers its farewell to spring, wrapping around them like a silk shawl. In this moment, surrounded by the forest's living magic, the traveler felt something shift inside them. Not suddenly, but with the gradual certainty of dawn brightening the sky. The peaceful pulse of the meadow seemed to sync with their own heartbeat, creating a harmony as natural as breathing. Chapter 3: The Hollow Tree of Reflection. The path, a ribbon of moonlight woven through the tapestry of the forest, led the traveler deeper into the embrace of the ancient woods. The air grew heavy with an unseen presence, not oppressive, but rich with a sense of age and wisdom, as though the very trees whispered secrets of forgotten lore. Tiny crystals embedded in the bark of ancient trees pulsed with a soft, phosphorescent glow, casting an ethereal light that danced and shimmered like captured starlight. With every step, the mundane world seemed to recede, replaced by a growing sense of wonder and anticipation. Ahead, a presence loomed, vast and imposing. It was a tree, ancient and immense, its trunk so wide it could have sheltered a small village. But it wasn't the tree's size that captivated the traveler's gaze. It was the hollow at its heart. A warm golden light emanated from within, pulsing rhythmically like a gentle heartbeat, beckoning them closer. The air around the tree felt different, charged with a quiet energy, as though the very essence of the forest converged upon this sacred space. It felt like approaching the threshold of a hidden library filled with ancient texts and forgotten knowledge, or stepping into a silent cathedral just as the last rays of sunlight illuminate the stained glass windows. The bark of the tree was a canvas etched with intricate patterns, swirls and lines that seemed to hold a hidden language, whispers of stories carved by the passage of time. The tiny crystals embedded within the bark caught the golden light from the hollow and the silver light of the moon, scattering them in countless directions, creating a mesmerizing dance of light and shadow across the tree's surface. It was a dance of memories, of dreams half remembered, of whispers carried on the wind. Willow paused before the tree, placing a hand gently on its rough bark, her touch light as a butterfly's wing. "This is the hollow tree of reflection," she murmured, her voice resonating with the quiet hum of the forest. "It holds memories like leaves hold dewdrops. Within its heart you may find what you seek, even if you knew not you were searching." Drawn by the warmth and the promise of discovery, the traveler approached the hollow. The entrance was perfectly smooth, polished by the countless paws and fleeting touches of generations of forest dwellers. Stepping inside felt like entering a different realm altogether. The air was still and hushed, filled with the faint, sweet scent of sun-warmed honey, mingling with the earthy aroma of moss and decaying leaves. The floor was carpeted with a thick layer of moss, so soft and yielding that their feet sank into it as though walking on clouds. The curving walls rose into darkness, not threatening but comforting, like the embrace of a protective cocoon. As they settled onto the moss-covered floor, the hollow's golden light seemed to respond, pulsing brighter for a moment before settling into a steady, comforting glow. The air within held a faint sweetness, a blend of sun-warmed wood, autumn leaves, and the lingering fragrance of night-blooming jasmine. The acoustics of the hollow transformed every sound into music, their own breath, the gentle rustling of leaves outside, the distant murmur of the stream, all blended into a harmonious symphony, accompanied by the tree's own low, resonant hum. Willow sat cross-legged just outside the entrance, her silver hair shimmering in the combined light of the moon and the hollow. She began to hum, a low, wordless melody that resonated with the tree's own vibrations. The two sounds intertwined, creating a tapestry of harmonies that seemed to vibrate at the very frequency of peace, calming the mind and soothing the soul. Time seemed to lose all meaning within the hollow. Minutes stretched into hours, or perhaps hours compressed into minutes, the distinction blurring into insignificance. The traveler's breath slowed, syncing with the rhythmic pulse of the golden light. Their thoughts, once scattered and restless like autumn leaves in a gust of wind, began to settle, drifting down like those same leaves onto the surface of a still pond, their surfaces mirroring the tranquility of the night sky. The hollow held them, cradled them, offering a sanctuary of quiet reflection, a space to find solace and rediscover the forgotten language of their own heart. Chapter 4. The Bridge of Glowing Petals. When the traveler emerged from the hollow tree of reflection, the forest seemed to greet them anew. The hesitant uncertainty in their steps had been replaced by a newfound lightness, a fluid grace that spoke of inner harmony. The shadows that had lingered in their eyes had lifted, replaced by a soft clarity, as though they were seeing the world through a lens cleansed by the forest's magic. The air, infused with the sweet perfume of night-blooming jasmine and the crisp freshness of the nearby stream, felt both invigorating and calming. Willow, her silver hair catching the moonlight like spun moonlight, gestured towards the path, which now shimmered with an almost ethereal luminescence. The path itself seemed to be woven from moonlight, beckoning them forward. The melody of the stream, once a gentle murmur, now resonated with a clearer, brighter song, like distant wind chimes dancing on the breeze. As they rounded a bend in the path, the traveler gasped. Before them arched a bridge, seemingly crafted from moonbeams and dreams. It spanned the now gleaming stream, its graceful arc a testament to the forest's artistry. Calling it merely a bridge felt inadequate, like calling a butterfly a mere insect. The structure appeared to be an extension of the forest itself, organically woven into the landscape. Intertwined branches, smooth and polished by time and weather, formed the railings, spiraling and curving like frozen dance movements, each twist and turn a testament to nature's artistry. But it was the petals that truly transformed the bridge into something magical. Countless petals, each glowing with its own inner luminescence, adorned every surface. Some shimmered with the pure silver light of distant stars, others with the soft lavender hues of twilight clouds, and still others with the delicate blush of dawn. They didn't merely lie upon the bridge, they seemed to breathe, to shift and shimmer in a constant, gentle motion, as though the bridge itself was alive. Willow paused, allowing the traveler a moment to absorb the breathtaking sight. "These petals," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the stream's gentle melody, "are more than mere adornment. Each holds a fragment of peace, a whisper of serenity left behind by those who crossed before you." She reached out a delicate hand, her fingers brushing against a petal that glowed with the soft warmth of amber. "Some hold whispered wishes," she continued, her voice hushed with reverence. "Others carry quiet epiphanies. And a few," she paused, a gentle smile gracing her lips, "contain moments of pure joy, so profound they had to be preserved." The traveler stepped onto the bridge, their foot sinking slightly into the soft carpet of petals. A gentle warmth radiated upwards, a comforting wave that spread through their body. Each step released a subtle pulse of light, a tiny spark of energy that seemed to resonate with the forest around them. Above, more petals drifted on the gentle breeze, their glow creating intricate patterns that resembled constellations slowly dancing across the twilight sky. The bridge seemed to sing beneath their feet, each step drawing forth a soft, resonant tone that harmonized with the melody of the stream flowing below. As they reached the midpoint of the bridge, the traveler paused, drawn by the mesmerizing interplay of light and water. The stream below reflected the glowing petals above, creating a breathtaking illusion of two bridges. one of wood and light arching above, the other of liquid starlight shimmering below. Overcome by a sudden impulse, they reached down and gently lifted a single petal, cradling it in their palm as one might hold a fragile snowflake. It pulsed with a gentle warmth, its rhythm echoing the beat of their own heart. For a moment they held the petal close, feeling a sense of connection to the countless others who had crossed this bridge before them, their hopes and dreams, their moments of peace and joy, all woven into the fabric of the forest's magic. Then, with a gentle sigh, they released the petal into the stream below, watching as it spiraled downwards, its light merging with the flowing water, becoming one with the river of dreams. Chapter 5. The Quiet Clearing. As the travelers stepped off the bridge of glowing petals, the path led them into a grove of ancient trees, their branches intertwined so tightly overhead that they formed a living canopy, a natural cathedral ceiling. Sunlight filtered through the dense foliage, dappled the forest floor in shifting patterns of light and shadow, like stained glass in a hidden sanctuary. The air within the grove was noticeably warmer, infused with the soothing aroma of chamomile and wild herbs, each breath a balm to the soul. Underfoot, the moss grew thick and soft, muffling their footsteps and creating the sensation of walking on clouds. The very air seemed to hum with a quiet peace, a tangible serenity that seeped into their pores with every breath. Gradually, the grove opened into a clearing, a hidden sanctuary bathed in the soft glow of twilight. Here, the boundaries between earth and sky blurred, the edges of reality softening as if in a dream. Willows, their silvery leaves shimmering in the fading light, encircled the clearing, their branches swaying rhythmically in an unseen breeze, their movements a silent dance of welcome. At the heart of the clearing lay a pool of water, so still and clear that it reflected the emerging stars and the sliver of the rising moon with perfect clarity. It was impossible to discern where the reflection ended and the sky began. The boundary between the earthly and the celestial dissolving into a seamless tapestry of light. Fireflies, like tiny embers escaped from the stars, danced above the still surface of the water, their lights pulsing in a slow, mesmerizing rhythm that mirrored the gentle beat of the forest's heart. Willow gestured towards a natural alcove formed by the roots of the largest willow tree, its gnarled and ancient form radiating a sense of timeless wisdom. "This is where your journey rests for a while," she murmured, her voice blending with the soft sounds of the clearing, the rustling of leaves, the gentle chirping of crickets, the distant murmur of the stream. "The forest has offered you what you sought. Now it offers you peace." The travelers settled into the alcove, the curves of the ancient roots conforming perfectly to the contours of their body, as though the tree itself had grown to cradle them. The moss beneath them, warmed by the day's lingering sun, felt soft and yielding, a comforting embrace. Above, the willow's branches swayed gently, casting flickering patterns of light and shadow that danced across the clearing like fleeting thoughts. Kneeling by the edge of the pool, Willow trailed her fingers through the water, creating ripples that spread outwards in concentric circles, each ring carrying tiny motes of light that resembled scattered stardust. She began to hum, a low, wordless melody that harmonized with the symphony of the clearing, the rustling leaves, the chirping crickets, the gentle lapping of water against the banks of the pool, all weaving together into a timeless lullaby. As the traveler listened, their breathing deepened, slowing to match the rhythm of the forest. Their eyelids grew heavy, though they fought to keep them open, unwilling to miss a single moment of the clearing's magic. The sounds around them, once distinct, began to merge and soften, becoming both clearer and more distant, like whispers carried on the wind. The whisper of leaves, the gentle lapping of water against the pool's edge, the faint chiming of distant stars, all blended into a soothing symphony that lulled the mind and calmed the spirit. Willow rose silently and retreated into the shadows, her form merging with the deepening twilight. She watched as a deep peace settled over the traveler, their features softening, their breathing becoming one with the rhythmic pulse of the forest. "Sleep now," she whispered, her voice as soft as falling petals. "Let the forest's dreams become your own." The clearing held its silent vigil as night deepened. The moon ascending its throne in the velvet sky, its light filtering through the willow branches, painting silver patterns on the sleeping traveler's face. The fireflies continued their mesmerizing dance above the still pool, their lights reflected in the water like 1,000 tiny stars, each a beacon of hope and tranquility. And somewhere in the shadows, Willow smiled, knowing that another weary soul had found solace in the embrace of the forest, guided by the gentle light of the moonlit path.